What's up, everybody? My name is Matt, and welcome back to Crypto Kings. And it has been forever since my last video, guys. I've been very tied up in the NFT space these days, but I'm ready to get back into it, giving you guys some Shiba Inu news. So if you guys are new, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and let's get right into it, folks. So starting off with a recap of what has been going on here, folks. This is honestly a pretty scary time for crypto in general. I think a lot of people are sort of on edge as, with political tensions in the world and things like that. The stock market and the crypto market have not been performing all that well. But again, I don't think this is permanent. Obviously, I do believe in crypto long term, and that is something, I think most people watching probably believe in as well. So Ethereum these days has been around 2650 or so, give or take a couple $100 or so, but that's around where we are sitting. And of course, SHIB as a result has been at around 25, which definitely is not all that hot compared to where we want to be. But still, keep in mind, folks, this is considered, I think, for most people, kind of the bottom. I think most people don't see crypto slipping all that much more, as let's say we take a look at Shiba Inu on the month-long chart here. Really, there are multiple instances in which we could have gotten a lot lower, and in multiple times we have not. I mean, you could take a look in almost every instance over the past month. It has bounced off of the 20-ish line, and I don't see it really getting much lower than that in the near future. So again, you guys can see, really, if we were to draw a long line of support for the entirety of the existence of Shiba Inu, I think most people can agree that in the past, 6 months or so, since give or take October, we've pretty much been holding above this one spot. We haven't really gotten much lower than this. No matter how many, bad red days we've had, we have not gotten lower than around 20. So that's right, roughly, where we were just, a little bit earlier, late last month, early this month. And right now, we're sitting around 25, which certainly is not particularly hot, but I don't see us getting much lower than that. I think, as many people have said, the bottom is in, or at least we are close to reaching that bottom, of course. Now, before any further, guys, if you guys are enjoying the video, make sure to check out my Patreon down below in the description so you guys can see exactly what NFTs and altcoins I am buying. I also have a free altcoin checklist for people who are signing up to my Patreon as well. So much more, private Discord chats. To be honest with you guys, I think it's a steal for only $10 a month. Link down below. So in taking a look at this chart, there is, kind of a lot to digest. So the main thing that obviously I think so many people have been looking for and have noticed really in the past month or two, give or take, is that the graph has overall been, slipping into what, most people would consider to be a falling wedge. So let's say we start from like January up until now. You guys can see we have basically early January here, kind of all slips down into one spot here. I think a lot of people were kind of expecting, the very beginning of February to be kind of where things reversed. And actually, according to, basic fundamentals, you guys can see the falling wedge that we sort of had here. And again, this is a loose interpretation. You always could slide things around a little bit, but this general falling wedge kind of movement did lead to a breakout. And again, that does, normally happen when you have a falling wedge of sorts like that. So, it leads to a sort of a breakout here, setting us up to around 35, which, definitely not bad. That's about halfway towards its all-time high. And unfortunately, after it just kind of starts bleeding. And this happens with plenty of other assets out there. If we take a look, I'd say Ethereum, even, you guys can see basically the same thing after, a long period of basically a falling wedge. It kind of reaches this bottom point here. It surges back up to around 3,200 and then starts bleeding. This is most assets right now. Again, they had, a good couple of weeks at the beginning of February there, but unfortunately right now they are just kind of bleeding again. And then same thing, of course, with Shiba Inu as well. So that's definitely something that I am looking at. And right now, what this has really made is, if we definitely stretch it out a bit, you guys can see it probably a little bit more, is a cup and handle. And you guys can see that basically this is the cup, roughly a cup here, roughly a handle. And that would normally would lead to some kind of bullish move. And this has happened before in the past. I've seen this happen many a time in the history of tracking Shiba Inu charts. So again, cup, handle, bullish move, that very well could happen. The problem is there are a lot of external forces that might prevent that from happening. Of course, most notably the fact that, again, you have the stock market and the crypto market not, doing particularly well on the whole. So that's definitely something that very well could limit this from seeing that kind of bullish move. Now, when we take a look at our indicators, of course, you guys know, always love to check my indicators. You guys can see the Fibonacci Retracement here is going to outline, the top and the bottom of the most recent run here. So when we take a look at what the Fibonacci Retracement has to say, this is actually outlining the last, 3 or 4 days or so. And again, you guys can see it takes it from the top here of around 32 to the low here of around 27.5-ish. You guys can see it pushes the 38.2% line, it pushes that line as a hope of gaining some traction again at around the 30 spot, and then it gets rejected. Same thing, it pushes that 23.6% line here at around 29, and that gets rejected. So, in multiple instances, it has attempted, to climb back up to where it left off, and unfortunately, in both of those instances, it has been rejected. So it definitely is not something that's particularly great. I think a lot of people, will not, be very happy with that kind of movement recently. Same thing with the relative strength index here. You guys can see that when we look at some of the most recent action here, again from early February or so, you guys can see it is taking the relative strength index past what it considers to be normal, and of course, because of that, it is considered to be a little bit overbought, and of course, that leads to us tumbling down a little bit, to kind of this lower point here at around 28. Then, of course, we try again, to break past that kind of line of resistance that we have now, established here at the top. We go to push past that again, and unfortunately, we get rejected, and that basically is what led us, to where we are right now. Because as much as I'd love to check, all of the nuances of the daily chart, what I like even more is to sometimes just refresh the page, take a fresh look, and sometimes say, man, let's look a little bit further, in the past. Let's look a little bit further at what we have here. And really, what I'm aiming to see is that we were able to maintain somewhere above, the 27 or 28-ish, as, historically, that looks to be kind of the spot where we snap back from here on January 10th. You guys can see, we headed below that a little bit. We snap back on the 20th here. We fall below that, and that is ultimately what leads us, to kind of being in this downtrodden territory here. And then we use that as a platform to bounce up again. Same thing, we hit it again on the 12th, bounce back up, hit it again now. We're falling below. So right now, if things go according to plan, we could see us snap back, considering that this line of support here has been pretty consistent, over the past, give or take a month or two. So with that being said, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. I always do appreciate it, folks. I do appreciate you guys sticking with me, and it's very glad to be back on the channel, and we'll be back daily, every single day, giving you guys updates with Shiba Inu. Thank you guys so much. Again, check out the Patreon down below in the description if you guys are interested in NFTs and altcoins like SHIB. You guys can know all of that on my Patreon down below in the description. Thank you guys so much. My name is Matt. See you guys on the next one. Peace.